I was watching this video and there's this little girl and she's not even 2 years old and she's putting on her own shoes and her own coat and she's so cute and it's just like making my heart and ovaries explode. She's so cute. But children don't get this way on their own. They get that way because they have parents who discipline them and train them. And today on Crack Your Bible Vlog, we are going to be talking about kids whose parents have decided that, hey, the onus isn't on them to raise them. It's somebody else's job. And unfortunately, the church is co-signing that. They're saying, yep, the most important thing is children. And it's not. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, I'm Rachel, and today on Crack Your Bible Vlog, I wanted to talk about kids today. Now, I'm sure all of you have had an experience where you're at a store or you're in an airplane and a kid is just an absolute hellion. Now, I rode on a plane from Mexico to Dallas to Las Vegas with a child who would not use headphones with her iPad while she was playing games. Literally wanted to scream. Wanted to go out of my mind because that's so rude. And parents, they don't do anything about it. You're in a grocery store and a kid, they're doing that fake cry. If you've ever spent any time with children. Now, when I was in high school, my parents had more children. So I went through high school and college with infants, toddlers. So I've done the baby thing. It's out of my system. Even though they're not my children, I've dealt with it. So when a kid is doing that fake cry where they're like, but they're making eye contact with you. So you know that they're just a little liar. And it's just like, why are kids so crazy? And it's because we have this like kid-centric society, and this is not how it was supposed to be in the Bible. Jesus did not run a robust kids ministry. He was teaching to adults because God has a hierarchy. You have parents and then you have the children, and the children are under the authority of their parents. And God says that if you love your kids, you'll discipline them. And honestly, I don't think a lot of parents love their kids today. I think a lot of parents want to have children because that's just the thing to do. And then once they have them, they realize like, maybe I'm not cut out for this, or this isn't what I thought it was going to be. And they realize that training a child takes effort. I've had to do it even though they weren't my kids, but I've gone through that process as well, just being an adult, basically like a mother figure along with my other sister to our younger siblings. And it takes effort. And sometimes you have to be the bad guy. You have to say, hey, stop fighting. I'm going to pull over this car. I've done it myself on my younger siblings. And parents today, they just don't want to deal with it. It's not their responsibility. They have the same attitude as Cain, but with their own kids. Cain, it was, I'm not my brother's keeper. I don't have to deal with that. Don't ask me. Today, you see that same attitude with parents, and they're being told that this is how it should be in the school system. Oh, we're the ones that are in charge of your kids' education. You have it in church. I read a senior pastor website and they said that the most important ministry is not for adults, it's for children. And for everybody to just suck it up, get over it, because that's just how it was. Children's ministry is more important than the adults. No, it's not. You need to be training adults to recognize their authority and recognize that the onus is on them to raise godly, well-behaved, disciplined children. Nobody else's problem but theirs. And this is why you have godless children. Because, sorry, an hour on Sunday, maybe another hour on Wednesday nights is not enough. It's just not enough. And especially if your parents don't know the Bible, you'll have no support because you'll ask questions and they won't know how to answer. So parents are the ones that should be focused on, especially men. If men aren't on board, your whole family's going to have a real rough time having a godly family. And unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of men in church because the church is teaching that men aren't important today. You have your women's ministry, you have your children's ministry, and then you have a bunch of pastors who are like kikiing up there on stage. Isn't it so funny? Like, men, don't make your wives upset. You see it on commercials. Men are just these bumbling idiots who can't even take care of their own kids. I watched it on the movie Sing last night. I watched it on Redbox. This character, Rosita, she's a pig and she has 25 piglets, and her husband is just an idiot, can't take care of them, and doesn't even recognize when she's not even there. So society has said, men aren't important. And so men are shying away from the church. And because men are shying away from the church, you have children that aren't being raised up where they're disciplined or where they're godly. It's just, well, I've been told that I'm unimportant, so I guess maybe that's true. Maybe it's not important. So you have wild kids going off the rails, and then you have people leaving the church. Why is everyone leaving the church? Well, maybe because you keep disparaging men, so children have no support at home, so they don't turn out to be godly children because they have no support. You have a church saying fathers aren't important, adults aren't important, we'll just take in the kids. You have society saying the same thing. We'll teach your kids. Commercials, we'll teach your kids. The school system, the government, will teach your kids. Now, so many parents have bought into this lie that, hey, it's somebody else's job to take care of your kids, that they've taken it to the extreme where even the school and the government is like, oh, wait, hold on. These aren't things that we're supposed to be handling because it's gotten so out of control. I saw an article online where it said that teachers are having a problem with kindergartners coming in and they're not potty trained. That's like a 5 or 6-year-old not being potty trained. Not special needs. They're regular kids. Their parents just haven't gotten around to the fact that, hey, your kid's not a baby anymore. Hey, if you're not going to teach them, they're not going to magically just like figure out how to potty train themselves. So you have lazy parents, inept parents, parents who shouldn't be parents, raising kids. Parents, take back that authority. Don't raise a kid like Cain. No discipline, spoiled, told that he's the Messiah all the time. And look what happens. God tells him, nope. He freaks out, kills his brother, has no remorse, no empathy. And that's what's going to happen today. You are going to see an increase in wickedness in the last day, and it is going to directly correspond to the fact that you have these spoiled kids who don't have parents or fathers in the church today. And I just want to say that if you are a family that's going to church, take your kid to the adult church, or, spend time with your kids, teaching them about the Bible. Don't let these pastors tell you that you're not important, because you are. You are the most important person in your kid's life. You have to discipline them. It is unbiblical to not discipline your kids. And, I've heard people say, oh, I wasn't disciplined as a kid and I turned out fine. These are always the biggest jerks. They are always just obnoxious. They're not self-aware. And it's more about them proving to themselves or validating, hey, I wasn't disciplined and I turned out right. So they're trying to validate, I'm okay. I'm not a jerk. I'm not rude. I turned out fine. And it has nothing to do with their kids. Don't be like this. Follow the Bible so we don't have these monsters running around. Like, society needs you to step up and be a parent. We need to support parents and adults when they discipline their kids out in public and be like, thank you. And I think it's also important to recognize and vocalize when you see a well-behaved kid. Hey, your kid is really nice. Your kid's really great. You're doing a good job. I think it's very important to support people like that because we need to reward people when they are doing something good. Let them know, hey, I appreciate you raising a nice child. So that's just something that I was thinking about. And I have a neighbor back here, and their kid is always just like crying for no reason. I check to make sure she's like not being abused. She's usually just out in the backyard throwing a fit. And it's just annoying. Like, parents, stop. Discipline your children. Please. Please discipline your kids. You are important. There is a hierarchy, and you are at the top of that hierarchy to God. Follow the Bible so you don't raise tons and tons of Cains where they show no empathy and they are just wilding out. So anyway, I will see you on Friday, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.